Is coconut oil bad for dogs? So wait, I thought it was supposed to be really good for dogs. I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, your pet's ally. If you want more information like this, click the subscribe button down there, ring the bell, hit the like button. So is coconut oil bad for dogs? That is the big question. And there's a couple of things that happened last year that made people start to wonder. And first of all, there was this report by the Mayo Clinic saying that coconut oil is a not healthy cooking alternative. And the reason is that it is extremely high in saturated fat. So if you have a high risk for coronary artery disease and high cholesterol, et cetera, and there's a debate about this too, believe me, then you probably shouldn't eat a ton of it. But does that apply to dogs? And so the answer is not really, because they don't get heart attacks due to atherosclerosis kind of plugging off their little coronary arteries. So, how does coconut oil affect pets? Well, originally we saw a ton of information about coconut oil in dogs being a good thing because there is a lot of evidence that it will actually help to kill some of the bad bacteria back and actually make it so that the good bacteria can thrive. So, looking at studies like this, where this site, and granted, this is a coconut oil vendor, I should say. Well, what they did is go back and look at some of the studies, and they found that they had no inactivation of the common good guys, the commensal organisms like E. coli without enterotoxins, lactobacillus, bifidobacteria, etc. But against these bad guys, they had a pretty profound uh, sort of antimicrobial effect. And the other thing is that for dogs with severe digestive issues, like lymphangiectasia, things of that nature, coconut oil in the form of MCTs or medium chain triglycerides has been used for a long time. In fact, since before I finished veterinary school, because I remember writing a paper up using MCT for a dog with really severe inflammatory bowel syndrome. And the reason is that MCTs are absorbed directly from the GI tract and they don't have to go through this digestive process. So in that respect, they can be this refined source of coconut oil can be an excellent supplement for pets that are having difficulties really absorbing fats. The other question I keep getting is it safe to put coconut oil directly on your pet because it has antimicrobial activity. A lot of people are using that on their pets like skin wounds and things of that nature. And it probably is a good thing. It does help to kill off some of the bugs. The other thing too is that it will coat the skin and kind of calm the irritation. Now, the trick is to not let your pet just immediately lick it off, because that'll do two things. One is obviously remove the coconut oil and prevent it from doing anything good. The second is that by ingesting that oil, that may create too much oil in your pet system, and that's part of what can create some of the possible side effects. Another thing I get asked is, can dogs be allergic to coconut oil? Allergic is probably not the right word, but sensitive. And what that means is that if we eat something day in and day out and tons of it, we can develop food sensitivities to what we are eating frequently, especially if we already have leaky gut or intestinal permeability. At the end of the day, is coconut oil safe for dogs? Is there any concern for coconut oil being toxic to dogs? And here's what I can tell you. The main concern from regular veterinary nutritionists is that it is a very dense source of calories, and the majority of pet owners have let their pets get way too heavy. And so if you add in tons of coconut oil because you're treating the skin, you're treating the gut, you're treating this, you're treating that, and the dog is ingesting a ton of it, it can become obese. Now, is coconut oil toxic to dogs? No, I don't think so, with the exception of pets that are prone to pancreatitis. And here's what I've seen over the years. For breeds that have issues with pancreatitis, typically they also have issues with fats in general. So think Schnauzers that tend to have hyperlipidemia. So if you're adding a saturated fat into their diet, one that is more difficult to break down, that's going to stick around longer. And so what we found is that in that case, yes, it can produce worse hyperlipidemia for those breeds. Another situation may be dogs that are hypothyroid, that are just not handling fats very well. The other thing that's really fascinating, and I have no way to explain it, and I've never found it in the literature, the original crock-pot diet contains a substantial amount of oil, because I think that dividing the macronutrients into thirds is the way to go. Now, for dogs that have been eating coconut oil as the only source of fat, we will see those dogs periodically develop pancreatitis. And not all of them by any stretch of the imagination. We're talking about maybe 2 or 3% of them. But what that led me to see is that this oil for dogs that are prone to pancreatitis, or if they develop pancreatitis on coconut oil, is just not a good choice. And what do you do? So what I would do is just substitute in other oils. So things like avocado oil, grapeseed oil, sunflower seed oil that's properly processed. These are all easy alternatives. So at the end of the day, is coconut oil harmful to dogs? And will coconut oil hurt dogs? And like everything in life, anything in excess can be harmful. Anything in excess can be hurtful. So I think as long as you are being very cautious about observing your dog, like, oh, I notice when he eats a lot of coconut oil, he's got erps and burps and things. Or, oh, I notice that he absolutely has no problems even when he's eating it, by the spoonful, because he's licking it off of his skin. So I think you have to be very mindful. How is your pet responding to it? That's the most important thing. And like everything else in life, too much of a good thing is too much of a good thing. So rotate, if you're home cooking especially, rotate through the oils. Use other vegetable oils that are healthy, like the ones I mentioned earlier, avocado seed, grapeseed, and be cautious. So that's what I've got for you today. I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, your pet's ally. Again, if this is useful, click the subscribe button, ring the bell, and hit like on the video so I know more of what you would like me to make for you.